We know Giannis Antetokounmpo to be a pretty sweet guy off the court, despite his trademark mean mug haunting the dreams and nightmares of non-Milwaukee Bucks fans. Giannis has shown himself to be a sweet softie. There's this viral clip of him presenting Russell Westbrook during an All-Star game press conference to ask permission to hold Westbrook's son. Or there's the countless fan interactions of Giannis being highly appreciative of fan art of him from kids. And of course, there are countless compilations of him just being a goofball that happens to be a 7-foot-tall Greek deity that's really good at playing basketball. However, even guys as sweet as Giannis can lose it too. Let's look at 7 times Giannis Antetokounmpo lost control and unleashed rage on the court. But before we continue, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos. A consistent theme that you'll notice throughout this video is that Giannis takes serious offense to what he perceives to be dirty plays done to him or his teammates. A lot of these instances of Giannis losing control has to do with him defending himself or retaliating to previous dirty plays. One of these moments came early in his career during a playoff matchup against the Chicago Bulls. At this point, the Milwaukee Bucks were very clearly overmatched. The Bulls were at the top of their prime, led by pre-injury Derrick Rose, and the Bucks entered as an unlikely playoff contender. The Bulls were already up 2-0 in the series, and in Game 3, Chicago was poised to take an unsurmountable 3-0 lead. As Chicago's Mike Dunleavy was rising up for a shot, a young Giannis Antetokounmpo ran into the shooting Dunleavy and basically speared him like he was WWE's Edge. It might seem like a random frustration dirty play, but there was some legitimate motivation behind that. Earlier in the game, Dunleavy, who already has a reputation for being a dirty player, hit Giannis' teammate, Michael Carter-Williams, with a cheap shot, believing the game to be over, and as a way of taking revenge for his teammate, Giannis bodied Dunleavy, cementing him to be a stand-up guy for his teammates. There's this one moment, though, where Giannis seemingly lost control at a random and almost uncalled-for manner. The fact that he did it to someone as Mo Wagner makes it all the more weirder. During a bubble regular season game against the Washington Wizards, Antetokounmpo took an awkward fall while jostling for the rebound against the Wizards' Wagner. It seemed innocuous enough. Many a hooper have fallen to the ground in a box-out battle under the rim. However, Giannis didn't seem to take this lightly. After decking Wagner on a rim attack that was called a charge, Giannis proceeded to headbutt the Washington Wizards forward, earning him an ejection and a suspension on their final game. It didn't matter at the end of the day, but it was really puzzling at the time, and one of the few instances Giannis became an actual heel. Giannis had 3 more notable fights, altercations in his career. One of them actually came a few days before his ejection against the Wizards. This one was a bit more valid, in the sense that the reason he got mad was more than justified. Against the upstart Brooklyn Nets in the 3rd game of the NBA bubble, Nets forward and complete nobody Dante Hall wrestled Giannis Antetokounmpo to the floor. Giannis didn't take this lightly, charging at Hall and telling the refs that he would fuck him up. It perfectly is valid here, but at the time, it wasn't a good look, especially after Giannis ejected a few days later. The 2 scuffles in the bubble particularly ruined Giannis' good boy appearance to other people. When I say perfectly valid here, I just mean it's understandable that that's the way he acted. It wasn't an unprovoked malicious play like what Bill Laimbeer would do for Detroit. It's a retaliation. However, that doesn't make it acceptable, especially for someone of Antetokounmpo's status as the MVP. Headbutting a player and telling refs you'd fuck someone up isn't really seen as moves an MVP candidate and face of the league type players would do. It just goes to show, though, that Giannis is willing to do anything for his team, even be the enforcer of the team. The next 2 instances of Giannis losing it are your typical run-of-the-mill player gets mad because opponent does something that they think is dirty. In a 2018 game against the New York Knicks, Giannis went for a usual drive to the rim. However, Enes Kanter had other ideas and decked Antetokounmpo with a hard foul. It's nothing brutal, just a typical foul to prevent an and one. However, Giannis didn't take lightly to it. Antetokounmpo confronted Kanter. leading to an altercation that led to Kanter being ejected via a double technical, and Giannis getting one tech. Had things escalated further, Antetokounmpo would likely be ejected. This is one of the moments in the Bucks timeline where they badly needed an enforcer kind of guy that wasn't also their superstar. Another one was against a foe that would cause him problems in the future. Against the Detroit Pistons, Giannis took an elbow to the face from then All-Star Blake Griffin. Whether it was inadvertent or not, Giannis didn't like that action from Griffin, and he immediately confronted him. They had to be broken off by their teammates, but that wasn't the end of their tussles for the night. After Giannis fell to the floor after a defensive play, Griffin walked over to the Greek Freak, Allen Iverson style, which Giannis didn't like at all. The next instance we'll talk about, Giannis losing control, isn't necessarily about his temper, but how he quite literally lost control of his body. During the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals against a surprisingly feisty Atlanta Hawks team, Giannis was busy trying to pummel his way through the Hawks defense. He went up for a shot at the rim, but the scene would immediately go from normal to nightmarish for Bucks fans. Giannis, upon landing on his leg, twisted his knee in an awful way, leaving the Bucks star in pain on the floor. We know Giannis to be this widely coordinated 7-foot guy who can twist and turn his body in ways no other big guy can. His dexterity and control of his body is what made him so unstoppable in the league. So to see him lose control of his own body and injure his knee in such a horrific manner was extremely shocking. However, Giannis didn't let the injury bug control his body for long. Defying all scientific and anatomical reasons, Antetokounmpo came back just in time for Game 1 of the Finals. Though he looked a bit rusty in that game, it was clear that the injury didn't do much to derail Giannis' freedom of movement. That would become apparent in later games, as Antetokounmpo and the Bucks would proceed to steamroll the Phoenix Suns en route to their first championship. Finally, here's a bit of a humorous anecdote from Giannis that showed just how close he can be at times to losing control in the most unfortunate of ways. During a game against the Indiana Pacers last season, Antetokounmpo threw down a vicious poster over Jakar Sampson. He then proceeded to do one of his classic mean mug poses after that dunk, which was fitting. After the game, Giannis posted a picture of that mean mug on Instagram. Pretty typical for an NBA star, right? Well, not quite. Giannis captioned the image in classic Giannis fashion, simply saying, "I almost pooped." It's hilarious that a player of Antetokounmpo's caliber, who has a legitimate claim to be one of the greatest to ever play the game, is also a childish guy who loves poop jokes. It's part of the charm of Giannis, and a big reason why a lot of people love him so much. Just imagine if Giannis really did take a fat dump while posing like that. Paul Pierce would be proud. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to our channel. Let us know what your thoughts are by leaving a comment down below as well. We will see you again soon with something new, so you can click that bell icon to get notified in the future. Till then, see ya!